big dose of Bitachon. So a lot of times people make a mistake of the thinking that what feels good is automatically good for us. The Baal Bitachon, however, doesn't care. It doesn't necessarily bother him that sometimes he goes through discomfort because he really believes that everything Hashem does is for the best. As the Chavod Levavot says, the Baal Bitachon, the one who has Bitachon, has trust in Hashem, he's happy any situation that comes his way. Why? Because even if it's difficult or against his nature, he trusts that Hashem only does what's good for him. Like a mother who has compassion for her child when she washes him, she diapers him, she dresses him, and against his will, sometimes the kid fights, but at the end of the day, the kid will calm down afterwards. Why? Because he knows that his mother is doing the best for him. And a lot of times Hashem, many times, does the same thing to us. We don't think it's right. Well, I don't want this to happen, or why is this happening to me? But really, Hashem is, quote unquote, changing our diaper. He's washing us. He's changing our clothes. And we sometimes fight it, but we have to realize that at the end of the day, Hashem is doing it for the best. And it's a famous mashal that the Bet Yosef described, that he wrote when the angel told him to learn the lessons of the Chavod Levavot. He says that when a person sees a mother changing or dressing the child, or forcing a baby to take medicine, that's an even more intense case. The kid's screaming, fighting, leave me alone, I don't want. And then at the end of the day, it looks like child abuse. It looks like the mother's holding down the child and forcing it down his throat. Still, and then at the end of the day, even that is for the best. Even that is for the good of the child. And that's the same thing with us in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's easier said than done, but it has to be in our mindset, and we have to push ourselves to constantly, put this frame of mind, keep this frame of mind, and then eventually it will seep into our heart. As the famous teaching I heard once from the Rabbi Finkelman, the Mashgiach Or Chaim, he said that it says "Vayu dvarim ha'ele al levavecha." You should put these words I command you today on your heart. What do you mean on your heart? In your heart. On your heart. Sometimes you learn, it doesn't go in. But eventually it stacks up, it's too heavy, and it all drops in one day. So eventually a person pushes and constantly reminds himself, it comes to the tova, everything's for the best. Hashem knows what he's doing. Hashem sees the big picture. I don't realize what's going on. This is really good for me. I have to have patience. I will see soon how I'll tie everything together. And the person eventually will finally get it, and it'll go into his heart. As the Khatam Sofer famously explained, what does it mean that Hashem told Moshe, no one can see my face and live? But at the same time, he saw the back of his tefillin, the Gemara says. This means that a person, when he tries to see forward why things are happening, you won't know. It's impossible to understand. No one can see that and live. But when you look back, when you see Hashem's back, which means when you look back at everything Hashem did to you, then you'll understand. Then you'll be able to see. So therefore, a person has to realize that while you're going through it, don't try to understand so much. Only when you go afterwards and you see what happened, you'll be able to put it together. So therefore, even if you're stuck in traffic somehow, you're late to an appointment, you're sitting next to somebody in a 10-hour flight and doesn't stop talking, and is really annoying, all these things, people think, oh, why me? What's going on? But a person has to realize you have to push against that impulse and say there has to be a very good reason. So as the King David says in Tehillim, Im lo shaviti vedomamti nafshi k'gomul alai imo. I swear that I silenced my soul like a child at his mother's side. That's how we have to be feeling with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. People sometimes they say, what does Hashem have against me? What does Hashem want from me? Why am He making me suffer? Exactly, I took upon myself more mitzvot, and I go through more suffering. Person has to realize that you're like Avinu Sheba Shamayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our Father, and our Father would never do bad to us, how much more so our mother. So therefore, the Bet Levi explains that many times we are like a baby that weaned from his mother. Means the weaned baby has been drinking his mother's milk all his life, and she weans him. He has no opinion of what she'd eat. Right now, she makes some food, protein, carbs, mashed peas, rice cereal, all these things. He has no idea. He's just sitting in the high chair and he just accepts it for what it is. And the same thing is with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. We don't accept it. But the Baal Bitachon says, what do you want to do? What do you want to choose? The Baal Bitachon says whatever Hashem wants. Whatever Hashem wants. Obviously, I prefer this or that, but at the end of the day, I want what Hashem wants. So think, now is good, and not in the future is good. Now it's good. And we have to realize that we will see soon the irritations, the discomfort was also